Well, hi, it's Dan here, and I'm so glad you could join me for this seminar. 4 great ideas to get any team to arrive on time. It's part of the Essentials in Worship Toolkit, which is part of the Essentials in Worship course material. And I'm so glad you could join in and look forward to sharing some ideas with you that I hope can be practical and helpful. Of course, you can get lots of resources like this over at danwilt.com. There's a free download if you sign up on my email list, and I'd love to have you be a part of the broadening resource community there. So let's get into this topic. 4 great ideas to get any team to arrive on time. Well, what's the point of pain? What's the real big question that a worship leader carries inside of them regularly? How do we get the volunteer teams we lead to arrive on time? It's a great question. I don't know about you, but my experience has been that's over the course of decades, worship leader, pastor, team leader, that getting people to show up on time to anything literally can be rocket science, or at least it feels like it's rocket science. Some people, they're wired to be highly prepared. They show up early. They get all the details right. They care about honoring others through how they handle the commodity of time in their lives. Other people seem to be wired for playing life by ear. Welcome to the creative community of the church, right? Assuming that events are just going to happen when they show up, when the party arrives. Well, how do you get everyone on the same page, ready to go at the same time? How do you bring these diverse types of people together to get the whole group seeing that your start time is important? Well, I find 4 ideas can help this this need within a local church community happen. Number 1, use downbeat time. Number 2, lure them with food. Number 3, start on time consistently. And number 4, make excuses hard. Okay, so let's look at each one for a moment. Downbeat time is when you want your team ready to go. So in music, downbeat time simply means internally in our team, that's the moment we're hitting the first note of the music for a rehearsal. In any team, it means the time that we start doing our preparation for the meeting ahead. So in addition to using downbeat time as a starting tool, it helps to tell people this is what time we're going to finish the rehearsal as well. So let me give you an example. I say to my team, guys, downbeat time is at 8 a.m. Sunday morning. What that means is electric guitar player, drummer, show up at 7:40, 7:45, whatever it takes, sound tech, etc., to get yourself ready so we're hitting the first note of music at 8 a.m. Downbeat time is understood now in the culture of our worship team. And when I say downbeat time is at 7:30 or downbeat time is at 8:15, it means do your prep so that we can lock in and get started. So that means everyone can then back dial their time to see what kind of time they need to be ready for that moment. And we just get it into the culture. Then I say, here's when rehearsal will end, or here's when our set will end, or here's when our worship time will end. Here's when you're basically free to go. And that means with the service, with prayer and ministry time, this is basically the time that you get to go. So then if you need to extend the time, you can ask permission or welcome them to leave if they need to, if it's a rehearsal. It's just a basic honoring of people that's in play. And that really goes a long way for people. And even if honoring others with such explicit time communication is not natural to you, it is a new habit that I promise you is worth working into your life and into your leadership. The second idea, as simple as it sounds, is people love to gather around food. So lure them in with food. Most of us experience some release of endorphins in our brain when we hear that someone is throwing a party, especially if we happen to be hungry at the time that we get that news. So food for people, I've found, feels like fellowship. It feels like happiness, like joy, like community, like goodness, like ease, like provision, like kindness. Food can draw us in, and it makes us, I've found, want to be somewhere on time. I've found that is true in family situations, and I've found that it is true in rehearsal situations. So tell everyone you're going to be having some sort of food for them at an earlier time than you actually want to start, and it'll help gather the troops closer to the time that you want them there. The third idea is start on time consistently. If you say you're going to start at 7, start right at 7. Now, I know this goes against the grain of many worship leader cultures that I've been a part of and have been around. But if you do this, it truly puts the onus on the person who is arriving late if they arrive late. If you always start late to accommodate those who are flying by the seat of their pants, then you share the responsibility for starting late. It's not everyone else's fault, it's yours too. You really then have no grounds on which to ask anyone to do anything differently. Remember, some folks on your team are working hard to arrive on time. You want to make them feel validated. You want to show that you value the effort that they've put in. Well, in fact, you want to keep them being role models, really, for the rest of the team. So start on time consistently for those who really need you to do that. And others are going to get the message over time. And number 4, make excuses hard. To make excuses hard, over-communicate with your team. Don't be non-communicative or sloppy in communication. Don't assume they know things and then wonder why people aren't honoring your downbeat time. Be specific, be clear, remind them what downbeat time is all about. Find ways to say the same thing in many different ways. Over-communicate through email, Facebook, texting, social media graphics, any other tool that your team uses, and know that different people use different tools. So communicate in many ways so everyone is getting the messages through the fronts that matter for them. Do whatever it takes. Some people like that phone call or text. You might need to bend to that for a while till they really get it. And if you see someone before the gathering at some other event, just remind them what time you're starting and that you're looking forward to seeing them. Hey, look forward to seeing you. Did you get my email that downbeat time's at 8? Awesome. Look forward to seeing you there. That'd be great. So let's just look at a snapshot here. What are action steps you could take? What one idea from the following list could you try for the next time you're meeting? Well, start using the phrase downbeat time. That might be your win. Tell everyone that downbeat time is at a certain time and what exactly that means. Communicate to them what downbeat time means. Then tell everyone some food is waiting for them 15 minutes before the meeting. That might be your way of doing it. Start on time consistently. And finally, make excuses hard for people by leading the way by being on time. And you might start to see, using even just one of these tools, a new culture emerge in your team. So I hope those are helpful tools. I'd love to send you a free download and connect with you over at danwilt.com. I create blog posts for training that provide easy access to many of these tools. I mail out free downloads. I mail out worship team devotionals, lots of things that I hope encourage you along your journey. So if you just go over to danwilt.com and sign up for a free download, I would love to begin connecting you in our wider resource network. Thanks again for listening, and I hope 4 great ideas to get any team to arrive on time has been helpful for you. Okay, connect later.